people of YouTube, it is time for the next Metal Earth kit for the next build. This time I am putting together the Master Chief helmet from the Halo series. This one I believe is just one sheet, so maybe not quite as complex. Definitely feels thinner. Pretty sure I've looked it up online, it's just the one. I'm interested to see just how this goes. I look forward to putting it together. It'll add to the collection, so let's crack it open and see what we have. Master Chief helmet. And this time we have but one sheet. And the directions are not in a plastic pouch, nor are they yellow-orange. They are white. As you have your top half. There's nothing on the back. This is just a one-page, one-sided sheet. You have in the top left corner the usual diagram or picture of the kit. Needle nose pliers are helpful for assembly. They certainly are. A bit about inserting tabs and folds. And you have the two different types of connections you're going to make. The blue is for bending, or no, excuse me, the blue is for bending tabs over. The green triangle is for twisting. And then you have the layout of the metal sheet, and it tells you all the different part numbers. And then what you do is these older kits, or these Halo kits, are laid out to where you go in corners. So this top left corner is kind of the intro, and then the right corner is where you start with part 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. You get down to 14 here, and what you do at the end of this top quarter is you move to the bottom left quarter. And there's 15, 16, 17, so on and so forth. Once you're done with the bottom left corner, bottom right corner. Tools that I'll be using. I have the standard Fascinations toolkit. Comes with the long nose needle nose pliers, flat nose pliers, and clippers. These are very valuable for getting the parts off. These are good for bends. Also use tweezers. These are good for small folds and bends and twisting of tabs. They have an angle to them, so they're good for getting up in certain areas for twisting. I have some ring opening pliers that are good for shaping some of the rounded parts. And I have some locking forceps that are good for holding on to things, some of the smaller items, and also for reaching into areas that the other tools can't get. I keep an array of dowel rods on hand for these kits. I'm not sure that I'll be using them a lot in this one, although there does appear to be one large rounded piece. I may have to use something bigger than this dowel rod. And also it's good to have some sort of pocket knife to get into narrow areas. I find this very useful for bending over tabs that are real close to other parts. And I have a dental type pick that's good for reaching into some areas, twisting, pulling. Sometimes tabs get pushed in too far. These are good for getting them out. So, let's get started.
I tried an old medicine bottle to bend the first piece of the kit, but it was not quite small enough. Then I tried a C battery. That was a good size. It was a little smaller than the finished product, but because of the size of the piece, it flexed back open. The curve of the second large piece, I used the medicine bottle. It is longer and does not need to be bent quite as much, at least not until all the parts are attached. Half of making this helmet is bending the sides of small pieces and attaching them to the larger ones. For these side pieces that bend the sides down at odd angles, bend the tabs so that they're all pointing straight to the connecting part. This will allow them to fit together better and easier. After attaching all the small parts to the bottom of the helmet, there are a lot of side pieces to bend over. Initially, I tried to fit all 3 tabs at the same time, but instead, I attached and twisted the middle tab and then worked on each side tab. This backplate serves to shape the helmet into an oval shape. It took some coaxing to make it work. Once I lined up the tabs, I bent them over halfway with tweezers and then pushed them down the rest of the way to secure them. I was afraid that making the bends on this top portion of the helmet were going to be hard, but it turned out to be fairly easy. The tabs really pulled everything into place. More bits to fold over. I realized at this point I had missed a couple of tabs on the back of the helmet. Bend up these 2 middle pieces carefully. Move back and forth along them and bend them slightly until you have it all the way up, otherwise the part could warp. The bends and shapes of this base are surprisingly complex. This video has been edited down to a shorter version. I try to clip out sections where I'm searching for parts, studying directions, and sometimes repetitive steps while trying to keep relevant information. I also clip parts where I have to try and adjust parts several times to make them fit, or to have to twist tabs again because I missed, etc, etc. It may make it look like this kit comes together easily, but it was a lot of bending and adjusting of parts to make things fit right. Work slowly and be patient. These kits take time. Fold and attach the 4 corner pieces and you are done.
Ladies and gentlemen, Master Cheif's helmet is all finished and complete. It was one sheet. It was one of the simpler models. It was a nice change from the complexity and length of the models I've been doing. This maybe took me 2 hours at most, which is shorter than the ones that I've been doing. It surprises me how few tabs are holding the larger parts together. The bottom faceplate and the eye part. There's only 3 tabs holding this bottom on, and only 2 holding the top on. So that's kind of surprising how few there are, but it works. It also has a little stand that it comes with. The stand is not directly attached to the helmet, which is new for me. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about that. It just basically sits on there, and honestly, not very evenly. If you want to get into the Metal Earth kits, to the Halo kits, and you haven't done any Metal Earth, this is where I would recommend starting. I would start with Master Cheif's helmet, just because it is one sheet. It is not that complicated. There's only 2 rounded parts, and they're larger and easier to deal with, so this is a good kit to start with. Not the Mantis. I'm not sure about the Warthog kit. We'll see, but this is a good place to start. So, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave them down below. Thank you for watching, and keep on keeping on.